We're live.
All right, so I think we're live. Let me share there in the other one.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about the technical issues in there. Let me just post in
We
the
all
chat. And
I don't know which camera to look into. Nice, that one. Cool. You're looking nice, bro.
yeah, I think the setup is cool.
Very
I think
cool.
it should work now, guys. I'm sorry for the delay. We just asked to share the link in the other chat. I don't know what happened here. We had some trouble starting the live session. No, you can stay there.
Okay, I can see.
Because you'll take over
Okay.
in a minute.
Yeah, nice.
So I think you can switch to the presentation mode there. So we're here. We're very happy to have you guys on board. We're starting a series of webinar here to help you to get the right start in starting your new venture, your new business idea, and taking things off the ground. So we set up a series of webinars. I'm going to walk through the agenda for today. So what you can expect. So to start with, we have here Anders. He's the CEO from Startup Central.
Yes.
And he will walk you through what Startup Central does, what they can help you with, and also talk a bit about when is the right time for you to register your business and also how to do that. All right. And then after he talks about that, I'm going to talk to you what you need to create your first website and then choosing your domain name. So a few tips in there for you how to do that and also to choose a web hosting that suits your needs. And after that, I'm going to talk briefly as well about which platforms you should choose and why, and also some considerations you should have on UX and UI. If you don't know any of those terms, don't worry. We're going to walk through them during the presentation and give some more insights into that. All right, so with that said, I'll leave you to it, and I'll just hook you to the presentation.
That's nice. Nice. I'll jump down for this because I'm not that tall, but I'll try my best to be. Cool. Let's see. Can we get the presentation up?
Yes.
So people can see it? Cool. I don't know if people can ask questions or anything, but if they can, read them to me. I'm the CEO and founder of Startup Central. And first of all, I have been a little bit sick, so I'm sorry for my sore voice. But I hope you can understand, and I will do my best there. Startup Central is a company that I founded back in 2018 with the purpose of creating a better space for entrepreneurship. We wanted to have our own social network, which we have managed to create on our app, Startup Lounge. But I also had that belief that if we managed to connect entrepreneurship, we could get it both easier, funnier, and cheaper. And that is why we have 95 coaches that you can use unlimited on the platform wherever you are in the world on startupcentral.dk. And you also have the opportunity to get more than 60 discounts from all over the world. One.com is, of course, one of them, where you can get access to the benefits of getting the best possible start, but also the best resources to scaling your business without paying too much. So that is more or less it. We are located in Denmark, but we are, of course, trying to help all around the world. You are closer to the computer than I, so please. We are going to talk about getting the right start because that is what we all wish for. And I'm sorry to burst the dream, there isn't a right start, but we can make it as easy as possible. So get a domain because then you have secured the name, the brand, the wording of the company. And it all starts with the name on the domain. Look into where your targeting group are. Is it globally? Then go for something like .com, IO, new, I don't know. But if it's locally, you can get .dk as in Denmark because you only want to focus on the Danish market. So make sure that you think ahead of time, because even though you think you will stay alone in one country, you never know. You could go to Sweden, you could go to the rest of the world. Any questions? No? Oh, sorry. But when you get the right domain, you also have to make sure to get the SOME names, because there's a lot of sharks out there, guys. And when I say it like that, is that people see, hey, I got that name, startupcentral.dk. Let's see if I can get the names out there for Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, so on. And therefore, they will try to charge you a couple of thousands for the domain on these social platforms. So make sure when you get the domain also on the social networks. Because if you get that, get the possibility of scaling yourself, but also doing the right marketing. And I'm sorry, I have seen a lot of cases where people got the domain but couldn't pay to get the domains on the social media platforms, and therefore needed to change direction, change the graphic, change the wording, change everything. And that is a hell of a lot of work. So make sure that when you do this, get the domain as the first thing, then get the domain on the social platforms very fast, and then choose the right platforms, because just having the name, let's say on YouTube, doesn't really matter if you're not going to use it. So if you get the name on YouTube, make sure that you actually have a plan to schedule content, create it, be visual, post on other people's platforms, and also get subscribers and create them some values. That is all platforms for me to say that. Because if you have these three things, you also need to create the content. The content is the way that you engage with your target audience, and the audience is the most important thing for you to grow your business. Yeah, I think that is cool. When do you register your business? That is a very good question. And I'm pretty sure it was you making the questions for us, because when do you do it? In my head, when you have your first sale, because then you have a purchase order, and then if you're going B2B, as in business to business, they will probably have the possibility of doing the VAT or withdraw you at some point. So they will have you to get this CVR number, as we are calling it in Denmark. But when you start getting the first customers, you need to register the business. But I actually think you could go even further back, because when you do the business plan, you may already know where you want to action, where you want to put in the targets for getting the first customers, pushing on social media, growing your website, get some kind of know-how about yourself, press articles, and so on. And in that opinion, from my point of view, get the business started already there, because the faster the better, and you don't know when the customer is ready, but it's not when you're ready. So when you have the possibility for it, get business started. It's so important for me to say, because the whole world is your oyster, and when you have the world as your oyster, you should do it. Then you have the question on how we will register the business, and depending on which country you're in, you have different kind of governments where you need to put in the CVR number, as we again calling it in Denmark. And the CVR in Denmark, you will create it at Virk, and you will go in there and you can choose several different company types. You can take the one-man company, an APS, and a stock company, depending on the cash you have in your pocket. But my personal opinion, go with the one-man company if you're a one man, because that is the cheapest and also the easiest one to get. If you have the capital on hand, go for the APS. That way you can secure yourself. You can have a holding company, and then you can have a company where you have the general draft activity in that. And when you do it like that, you have the possibility of creating the best structure for yourself, and then you can create other companies and sub companies or sister companies under the same domain. And I think in many cases that will make you a stronger entrepreneur over time. But also you have the possibility, if you have an activity company, you can move any kind of profits up to your holding company. And when you have your holding company there, you can use it as a bank for yourself and pay a little bit less in taxes. And I think that is nice to have that in. So that is more or less it. What I would say: get the domain, get the SoMe channels, make sure that you register as fast as possible, make sure you have the plan ready, make sure that you have the plan also for which type of company you want to register. Because many people do the mistake of creating a hobby as a business, and then the hobby scales up and become a full-time job. Do it right from the beginning. You don't want to do the paperwork several times. I think that is more or less it, what we can expect from me today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I do appreciate all the tips you're giving here to the audience. And just a question for you. So, when you talk about the several types of companies that you have the option to register and so on, what is the main challenge in registering those companies?
Often it's the business account where you're allowed to put in your revenue. So you need to have a very strong business plan, a budget, and that way the banks are more willing to lend you the account. Sadly, that is a big issue in Denmark, because in Denmark we have that issue of getting a business account. It's not as easy as it is in, let's say, the UK or Germany. So you need to have that plan well structured, well prepared when you go to the bank.
That's pretty cool. And is that something that you guys help our audience in case they need some help with that?
We do.
And how do they reach out to you guys?
You can find me or Startup Central at startupcentral.dk. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm also on. So wherever you want to find me, reach me out, and we will do our best to help.
That's awesome, guys. So we'll also leave his contacts and all Startup Central website on the comments here. So we have a team taking care of the comments. So guys, please leave in the comment section there for our audience.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I'll take over now and talk a bit about creating a website from scratch and so on.
Do that. Perfect.
Let me switch presentations here.
I'll grab my stuff here. Maybe I will.
All right, guys. So creating your online presence, right? So why is it that you don't only create your profiles on social media and you're done with it and it's all good? Well, there are some risks attached to it. So for example, you don't have control on the social media platform. So if something goes wrong and they take down that platform, you lose all the work that you have put it in there to create that profile, and people will not be able to find you anymore. So if you have a personal website, that's something that you can mitigate, and you have always that website live because that's on you and not on someone else to keep that place live, right? And then there's also a risk of getting banned. And I have a very interesting story here. I studied a master's at Lund University in entrepreneurship. And one of the speakers went there and told us about a business that was regarding cosmetics, but it was cosmetics made out of hemp. So that's a word that is very banned on social media platforms out there. And what happened is she was promoting a real product, but actually because of the keyword she used multiple times, her account got banned. So she could not use that anymore. And she had to create a new account and lost a lot of subscribers in there, which can be painful. So if you have your own website, you can definitely use those words and so on. So you can promote your product the way it should be promoted. And the last one there is risk of changes in the algorithm. Of course, you also have that regarding search engines like Google, for example, they could change. But then it's in terms of putting the eggs in different baskets so you mitigate the risk and divide in there, right? So if something changes in Google's algorithm, it will impact your site, maybe not your social media. But if something happens to your social media algorithm, then you'll still have your website and you'll still have traffic going to your website, right? So what do you need to create your first website? So if you're new to this, you need 3 things to create your first website. So the first one, Anders already mentioned to you guys, is the domain name. So if you don't know what's a domain name, it's basically the name that you type in the browser to reach a website. So it's usually made from your brand name or something like this. And then you need web hosting, which is basically the storage space where you will store all the files, photos, and data that you put on your website into servers. So that's a way to make that happen, and so it can be live on the internet. And then third but not least, you have CMS, which are platforms that you can build your website into them, right? And I'll just talk a bit about each one of those, and let's go more into detail so you can check it out. So choosing a domain name, right? So what can you do? Like, how do you choose a business name? So first of all, if you already have a business name for your business, it's easy. You just go to a web hosting company like us, or just type in One.com, and you can check the availability of that name and see if it's available. You can get it. Otherwise, you can look for alternatives. And that's pretty much it. But if you don't have a business name yet, I think that's something you have to put in some thought and make it look nice and memorable as well. Otherwise, people will not remember your name so easily. It could be a bit complicated. So on our last video, if you guys follow our YouTube channel, we gave an example of a bakery store, and we called it the best bakery in the world.com. So what do you guys think about this domain name here, for example? It's kind of too big, and probably someone would misspell it or when typing into a browser or something because it's too long. So that is definitely not a good idea for a business name or for a domain name, because it's too long and complicated for the users. But we gave another example here, which is way more simple. So bakefactory.store, and it's way more memorable than the best bakery in the world.com. So this one, it's definitely a step up according to the other one, but it's a good place to start with. So try using keywords as well from your niche. So we're talking about a bakery here as an example. So if you have bake on your domain name, you also have some keywords within your pages and your blog posts and so on. And that match will be great for search engines like Google to match you as an authority in that niche. So it's really good to have that on your domain name as well. And then last, there is just checking for trademarks, if you have any trademarks on the names that you're registering a domain name, so you don't have any complications there in the future. So make sure you do your own due diligence in there and look for trademarks, and if it's okay for you to register that name. And talking about domain extensions, which is what comes after the dot in .com or .store, for example. So there are two ways of going about that, right? So if you plan to go more global and sell in multiple countries and so on, I would suggest you to go with the .com. Is the most well-known domain extension out there, and it's really good for international companies. But if you are just a local bakery store like this one in the example, here we said in Sweden, it was our example, so we made it bakefactory.se. But you can definitely go for your country. So if you're in Denmark, it would be .dk and so on, right? So you would search for the local market you're looking to start your business and get the domain in there. If you plan to expand and go to other markets, I would suggest you to already get the domain for the regions you're aiming to. So let's say you want to create different ones for .se, .dk, .de, and so on for different markets, and just secure them, because buying a domain that is available is very affordable, but once it is taken from someone else, it could be very expensive for you to get that domain name. So make sure you register in all the markets that you want to explore, and that will be easier this way, and you will save a lot of money if you do that from the start. And then the other tip there is just get creative. There are a lot of domain extensions out there besides .com, like .store is an example of that. So you can get creative and create a domain extension that matches your name in the beginning of the domain name. And then it should be something funny and creative for you to work with, right? And definitely making it more memorable for your customers. All right, so choosing web hosting. So that's the second step, right? So you can see here that we offer 4 plans at One.com, and I'll help you to better choose the plan that best suits your needs in here. So to start with, well, you kind of need to go in the lines of entrepreneurship and bootstrapping, because we all know that starting a business is hard and we have limited resources and so on. So bootstrapping is part of that. So we kind of have to aim for the best buck for the best bang for the buck type of deal, right? So here at One.com, if you go to our website right now, we have an offer that is really good. So you have 3 months for free if you purchase a domain name with us. And then you pay the remaining 9 months of hosting after this 3 months. So it's really good for you to test it out during this 3 months, build your website, see if you're going to pursue that idea or not. And then if you are and you're doing good, then you renew it for the remaining 9 months, and then you'll have yearly renewals after that. So that's a great way to start it. And also Startup Central. So if you're not signed up with them, if you get a membership with them, they can also provide you some coupon codes and some deals to get some discounts with One.com hosting plans as well. So I would definitely check into that. You can also ask for how to sign up with Startup Central in the chat, and they will reply to you with the links for you to do that. And then some other things here for you to consider when choosing the web hosting plan. So as I mentioned, we have 4 plans, and that will, to help you to decide on which plan to go with, you should consider how many websites you want to create. So let's say you're just creating an e-commerce shop and you just want to have 1 website. Then you should stick either with the beginner or explorer. But let's say you're working with affiliate marketing and you want to create like 10 websites. Then you should definitely go with Guru or taking 2 enthusiast plans, and then you could host the 10 websites, right? So that's pretty much the difference in there. It will definitely take the number of websites you should want to create or not. And then also for platforms, if you just want to create 1 website in WordPress, for example, then you should go with the Explorer plan, which accepts the one-click install WordPress. But if you want to use our own website builder, which is a bit more user-friendly and easy to use, then I would suggest you to get the beginner, because that's definitely the best bang for the buck for you to start trying and testing things out on a low budget, right? And also there is the storage. If you really require storage for your website, like say you have an e-commerce store, but you'll have a lot of pictures and images and things that will take a lot of space, you should consider that the higher plans have a bigger storage space as well. And also add-ons. So the Guru plan, for example, is the highest one you can get, and it has some add-ons added to it at no cost for you, no extra cost. And you can check it out at One.com, which add-ons we're talking about. I'm not going to go into details in this live session. So my tip here for the web hosting is look at all these 4 options, see what best suits you. But the tip is start small, because you can always upgrade your package if you need to scale it up and have more websites or what's the case. So that's my tip for this one. So talking about choosing the right platform, I'm going to talk a bit here about 2 platforms. So the website builder that we have developed here at One.com, and also WordPress, which is one of the most famous platforms out there to create websites, right? So why would you choose the website builder instead of WordPress? Well, to start it with, you can see here on the screen, that's how the backend from the website builder looks. It's very intuitive and easy to use, and you don't need any coding skills to create a website using it. It's super intuitive. You can see on the left side there, you have all the icons and all the buttons and all the functionalities that you can add to the website. And then you can just go there, click and drag it to the right side where you create the page. And you should be good to just change things around, and it's very intuitive. So the learning curve is very fast, and that's really good. And also you don't need to maintain it. So that's something that doesn't consume you time, because WordPress does require you to update a lot of plugins and a lot of the core from the WordPress. But in here, One.com does it all for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And as the last feature is really great because you can also have an online shop integrated to the website builder. So you can have your website, and if you want to sell products, you have this amazing integration of the online shop that you can see in there, and you can just add a product and drag it to your website, and you will have to add the payment methods and so on, but you will be able to perform sales on your website. And moving to WordPress, which is the most popular tool out there to create websites, why would you choose WordPress? Well, to start it with, it's an open source CMS, so a platform that is open source. And that means that there's a lot of content out there on the internet. So let's say you need a tutorial guide to help you out how to create a page or how to do something specific. You will probably find that anywhere on YouTube or any blogs or anything, because there are a lot of content around WordPress on the internet that can help you out to start creating your website. And then you also have way more integrations and plugins in WordPress because of that. So if you want to customize your website to the next level and have a lot of functionalities in there, then WordPress is definitely for you, because you can scale that up. You can look for plugins to add to your website and make some functionalities different than the stock ones, right? And also, if you're starting a blog, I think this is the best platform for you to start the website, because it has a really good feature to manage all your posts and everything. So definitely stick with WordPress if you're looking for blogs. And if you want to create an e-commerce, they also have this plugin called WooCommerce, which is a bit more complicated than the online shop, but it's definitely a great plugin for you to also to create a customized e-commerce store. So there you have it. They're very good in both ways. It's just depending on how tech savvy you are and how much you want to explore. The learning curve on WordPress is a bit slower because it is a more complex tool. It has a lot of functionalities, but you have this flexibility. So it's up to you to decide on user friendliness or more functionalities and so on. So, but either one you choose, I bet you can create great and amazing websites with it, right? And just moving on here to UX and UI considerations. So just to start it with, what the heck is UX and UI, right? So you have it there, UX stands for user experience, and UI stands for user interface. So the thing is, UX and UI, you basically use that to improve your user experience on your website, and also to see if the interface, the website, or the apps that you create are doing well. So if a button is clickable, if it is intuitive or not, so stuff like this to help the overall experience of your customer, to get more engagement, and so people can click more and buy more on your store. So these things, it's very important for you to consider so you can have better conversion rates on your website, to sell more and spend less money on ads and stuff like this, so you can get more sales in and have better margins on your business. So then you get to an entrepreneurial dilemma, right? So if you have the budget, what I would recommend to you guys is, yes, definitely hire some in-house designers to help you both with UX and UI. But that can be very expensive. And I know like you're starting out a business, so it's kind of overwhelming and it can get expensive really quick. So if you don't have the resources, second best alternative would be hiring freelancers, so outsourcing that part of the business. And it would be much cheaper than hiring designers. But it's still a very viable option because you can find a lot of freelancers out there that can perform a great work for you. But if you have no budget to work with that, then I have a tip for you in the bottom, which is using the templates and also building blocks and sections that we have available on the website builder and on WordPress. So on the left side of the screen there, you can see the examples of templates and building blocks and sections from the website builder. We also have the same for WordPress, which we have a team here that created specific designs and layouts to improve all UX and UI functionalities of our pages, right? So make sure you use those as a starting guide so you can provide a good experience to your customers. So if you do that, you already have a lot of work that our team has put into UX and UI, and you'll be able to create good looking pages that work well and perform well. So I think on a budget, if you want to start on a budget, that's the best way to go. So make sure you use the templates and also the building blocks to create pages and so on. So that comes, I think, to the end of today's topic. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm just going to talk to you a bit about what are the next webinars we're hosting. As we told, this is a series of webinars that we're going to do, and to go a bit in more depth. So we created this sequence. So on the 28th of April, we'll have a webinar talking about how to create a website with the website builder. So we'll do like a live demo. I hope things will work better next time, so you guys don't have to jump from one live to another to find us live. So we promise to work better on that. But there we're going to teach you how to create a website using Website Builder. So how to use templates, how to create pages, how to edit a header and footer, and also how to create products using the online shop to put it live and start doing sales with it, right? And then as a next webinar we're going to do on 11th of May, it will be the same, but creating a website with WordPress instead. And then we have a product manager here, Lisa, that takes care of WordPress, and she will do the same for you guys. She will walk you through basics of WordPress, how to use templates, recommended plugins and add-ons that she uses, and you should think about them, and also how to use WooCommerce as an e-commerce platform as well. And then last but not least, on the 25th of May, we'll have a payment gateways and banking webinar. So basically talking about if you should get a business bank account when you start a business or not, and how to do that. And also which payment gateways you should use on your website to sell stuff online. So what are the best practices and so on, so you get the best conversion rates in the market. So I think that wraps it up, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. And if you did, please leave comments in here. If you want to see more specific topics, also leave comments and we'll work to bring this content here for you guys. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. And I see you guys on the next one.